Hey, it's me, TB, and today I'm bringing to you another book review, and this time it is for Lord of Eternal Night by Ben Alderson. I think this is the first paranormal romance that he's written. I've read all of the other books so far, I'm pretty sure, or at least most of them anyway, and this is marketed as a standalone, but this is technically part of a series that will be coming out starting next year, but each book will be a standalone romance. So each book will follow a different couple, so there's that. And this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but featuring a vampire and a witch. And in this book, we have our main character, Jack. Who is sent to this place, who is sent to this spooky castle surrounded by a barrier because, as Jack is a witch, he's the only one in his clan in a very long time to have magical powers, and he's basically been trained his entire life to use these powers to kill this vampiric monster living in the mountains in this castle. And every year they have to send a sacrifice there to make sure the barrier stays in place, I guess. And so Jack is chosen and is sent there, of course, with the intent to kill him on the full moon, because that is when the claim or the sacrifice is killed. Of course, he's sent there with the intention to kill this monster, but of course they fall in love, because of course. And also this book doesn't end in a happily ever after, so don't worry. I feel like it works when it all when it all happens, but for a long time you have no idea how this is going to end happily, which is good. So our vampire hero is called Marius, and he's basically been stuck in this castle for a very long time, and he's been stuck under this curse for a very long time, of course. I feel like it is a very general gist of what to expect going into this. So I guess as for the usual, what the book did right and then what it did wrong. So as for what it did right, I feel like this book did a very good job of setting up the atmosphere, because we are stuck in a castle surrounded by these spooky woods, and you can't really leave, so it does feel very enclosed into this castle. Simultaneously, it feels very big and winding, which is a good thing, because this book is also marketed as being gothic. So it is I would argue it is gothic because we are stuck in a very sprawling castle in a very dark place, so it works. And I do feel like the romance between the two of them, once you get into it, it makes a lot of sense, and I did end up rooting for them as a couple, so that's great. It's the main part of a romance, so that's great. I did highlight a lot of sections in this because they're so cute, so fantastic. And speaking of highlights, also highlighted a lot of smut scenes, because the smut in this was very very well done. It was great, and there's enough smut described that it isn't overwhelming. It isn't I would not say this is an erotica by any means, but there is smut in it, and there is quite a bit of it. And finally, God bless, we have a scene where our main character gets rimmed, and it's great, so fantastic. I was actually tempted to give it 5 stars just for the fact we do have a rimming scene in a book finally, but I did not because of reasons. So yeah, this book is a 4 stars for me. So there's that. I did still really like 90% of it. It's just a few things that come up later, As this is book 1 in a future series, of course, we do have to set up how this world kind of works. Generally speaking, we do have a very good idea of how you can see how the world is going to grow out from this, I guess. Because as this book, we only kind of get how the witches work, really, and only specifically this kind of a line of witches. So it is kind of hinted towards there being a lot more beyond this one space in the world. So I do feel they did a good job of being a book 1 in a series, kind of setting things up so they can be further explored later on. As for what it did wrong, most of the problems with this book have to do with length, and it's just the fact that it's so short. It's slightly over 300 pages. I think it's 302, 310, around there. It's very short. I don't know why it's so short, because this was independently published. Obviously there could have been more added to it. I do feel it needed an extra 50 to 100 pages to kind of beef it out, because we don't get a lot of backstory between our antagonist and our main character. I won't say who our antagonist is, but it was pretty obvious. We don't really get a lot of our main character's backstory, which was a weird thing to not do, given how important that is. But it's kind of glossed over. Granted, we do learn a lot about Marius, our vampire hero, so I do feel it works out in the end. But still, I wanted more about our main character Jack and his backstory, and more of what happened to him while he was growing up. Would have helped us a little bit, expand out the introductory section a little bit further. And then when it comes to their romance, I mentioned this with my friend Teresa, who I beta-read this with, and they jump from tension between them to love very fast. It isn't instant lovey, because there is this section of tension where they aren't liking each other or talking that much. So there is a tension between them, and they don't like each other at first. But it isn't long enough. There isn't this gradual growth to love. It's kind of this tension, and then immediately jump to love, which is fine. I do feel by the end I was shipping them, so it works. But I still wanted a little bit more, kind of them kind of growing to love each other, I guess. So yeah, there's that. I feel that's kind of my main critique about everything. Just I wanted more depth and explanation to their like them falling in love, as well as like Jack's backstory, because I did feel like those two sections were the ones that like needed the most like boosting or like buffing up to them, you know. Besides that, I still have a little like critiques to it, because again, like my main two issues were just that, because once you get into it and once you like kind of like agree with them being in love, it kind of like just works, you know. So yeah, that's like my main critique, is just like we need to like more like stuff to add to it, you know. Which is weird, because obviously there was like enough space to add stuff too. There sure wasn't that. It's not like a bad thing, but I will mention it anyway because like I liked it. There is like a scene where like at a hot spring, so obviously Marius gets naked immediately, because of course. So there's like the weird like awkward thing between lovers where they haven't got naked in front of each other yet. So like awkward and cute. It was great. I loved it. To experience all the awkwardness being naked in front of each other for the first time. It was cute. I loved it. It was great. I think it's all to say about this book. I did like it. I did give it 4 stars, of course. And yeah, again, my major critique was just that need like more oomph to it, you know. But yeah, the sex was smutty and good. The romance was cute. I loved it. I liked role building. I liked the atmosphere. I did like our 2 main characters. So again, like nothing like was awful about it, you know, but still wasn't like perfect. I mean, maybe we could have like expanded further on what exactly Jack's powers are, or like what he can do, I guess, which again, could have been covered if we got more of like his backstory, but whatever, you know, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe, like, share, all that. Hopefully I will see you next week.